Welcome back. This is a continuation from the last video, and I'm going to start on Genesis 4. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. So, the Lord at this stage he's not happy with Cain, and he basically tells Cain that if you have to please the Lord. You have to do what's right in the eyes of the Lord, and if you don't, then sin lieth at the door. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, the Lord, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth. So the Lord's punishing Cain. And Cain said unto the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from the face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, Therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. So what the Lord is saying here basically is, if Cain is to live out his life as a fugitive and a vagabond, and his time will not be shorter than, so it's basically, he's supposed to live out his punishment on the earth. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. And Cain went out from the presence of, and Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. Okay, so there's more than one Enoch in the Bible, and this was the one from Cain. And he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. And unto Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begat Mehujael, and Mehujael begat Methuselah, and Methuselah begat Lamech. And Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of one was Ada, and the name of the other was Zillah. And Ada bare Jabal. He was the father of such as dwell in tents, and of such as have cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all such as handle the harp and organ. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal-Cain. So I guess which is a form of his father's name. An instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. And Lamech said unto his wives, Ada and Zillah, Hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech. For I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged 7-fold, truly Lamech 70 and 7-fold. So, and Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. So now they have a second son, Seth, after Cain and Abel, where Abel has died. For God, said she, hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. So then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. So this was so I guess that means when men started to worship the Lord. And then, so now it goes into the descendants of Adam. This is the book of the generations of Adam, in the day that God created man. In the likeness of God made he him. This is chapter 5. So in the likeness of God made he him. And I talked about the likeness of God creating man in his image from chapter 1. And which is a pretty great thing, because he created man in the image of himself, which doesn't mean he created every man to look like him, obviously, because we all don't look the same. But what's pretty cool about that is that two arms, 2 legs, anatomy, everything is similar to the likeness of God. He created us in his image. And male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begat a son in his own likeness after his image, and called his name Seth, which I just said from chapter 4. And the days of Adam after he had begotten Seth were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters. So you see here, men in the Bible before the Great Flood lived 900, 1,000 years. And, or even more. And Adam, and the days of Adam after he had begotten Seth were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years. And he died. And Seth lived 105 years and begat Enos. And Seth lived after he begat Enos 807 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. And Enos lived 90 years, and he begat Canaan. And Enos lived after he begat Canaan 815 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died. And Canaan lived 70 years, and begat Mahalaleel. And Canaan lived after he begat Mahalaleel 840 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. And Mahalaleel lived 65 years, and begat Jared. And Mahalaleel lived after he begat Jared 830 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Mahalaleel were 895 years, and he died. And Jared lived 162 years, and he begat Enoch. So here's second Enoch, which was different from the first, which was from Cain. Now, this Enoch that comes from Jared. This is he's the one who wrote the book of Enoch, and he walked with the Lord. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. And Enoch lived 65 years, and begat Methuselah. And Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years, and begat sons and daughters. So, and all the days of Enoch were 365 years, which is coincidence for the number of days in a year. I think that has some significance. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. So what does that mean? He was not, and God took him. Well, I think that to be that Enoch was translated, which is basically, which is kind of like a rapture, when you're just kind of taken up in the physical form. So he was not, for God took him. And if you read the book of Enoch, which I highly recommend to read, basically Enoch was a prophet, and he also was brought up to the heavens, and much prophecy in the book of Enoch. And Methuselah lived 180 780 and begat Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 782 and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 182 and begat a son, and he called his son Noah, saying, This same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord hath cursed. So, what that's referencing, that he knew when he had Noah that Noah had a purpose that was from the Lord. And Lamech lived after he begat Noah 595 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. So 777. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So just imagine living to be 500 years old and then having 3 kids. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. So this is the great fall, which leads up to the great flood. This is the fall of the angels, because the fallen angels, they're called. And this is, if you read Enoch, the book of Enoch, they go into great detail. I think that's how the book of Enoch starts, with the falling of the angels and why they fell, and so on. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. So see, now this is the point where our lifespan is shortened. And there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. So this, the book of Giants, this is also referenced in Enoch, the book of Enoch, and I highly recommend you read that. And the one I have on my tablet, I have the book of Enoch, and I think I got this free. It's called The Complete Book of Enoch, Standard English Version, Dr. J. Winter. And that's the one I got. And that book has not only the book of Enoch in it, it also has extra content like a Dead Sea Scrolls chart, Book of Giants, Evidence of Giants, Testament of Solomon, and all great reads, in my opinion. And so, so now God has shortened man's life, and because their daughters slept with the fallen angels and produced giants. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on earth. It repented the Lord that he had made man on earth, and it grieved him at his heart. So he regrets making man. And the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air. For it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord, because Noah walked with the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was just a man and perfect in his generations. And Noah walked with God. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. Ring any bells? And God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Rooms shall thou make in the ark, and shall pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make it of. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. Now, if you do any research on cubits, I think it's about an average hand length and a half. So a hand and a half, which would be probably about like from here to about right there. That's about a cubit. So 300 cubits, 50 cubits. Oh no, sorry. No, I'm thinking of another measurement. Cubit. No, I think cubit was a meter. Sorry, yeah, hand. What was the measure? The hand. Okay, that's called something else. But cubit. Oh, here, I'll just check here. A cubit is. Let's see. It's an ancient unit of length. Okay, the range, they say it roughly ranged between 444 and 530 millimeters. Which is, yeah, so 17.5 to almost 21 inches. So yeah, I was right, kinda, sorta. So it's about it's about a foot and a half. So I guess a hand length. So it's a little bit longer than it's about, I guess, about like that. Up to 20 inches. So, well, yay, size. It also says, with an ancient Roman cubit being as long as 47 inches. So it kind of varied. It varied between different cultures. So he tells Noah to make the ark, and he says, "A window shalt thou make to the ark, and in a cubit shalt thou finish it above, and the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof. With lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it. And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth, to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die." So he's going to wipe out every living thing on earth. "But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons, and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee. And of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female, of course, of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind. 2 of every sort shall come into thee, to keep them alive. And take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be for food for thee and for them. Thus did Noah, according to all that God commandeth him, so did he." So I'll end it there. Next will be chapter 7. And so, I mean, you could, some people would say, well, that's impossible, to, how do you bring animals into a boat? How do you bring a male and a female of every type of species into a boat? But with God, anything is possible. And I believe that it happened, and he led one of each, if not more. It says one of each here. But led by God. And another interesting article or story related to the ark is a gentleman named Ron. His whole name escapes me right now. Ron something. He you looking on YouTube. He actually discovered a boat that was supposed to be Noah's Ark. His name's Ron. Sorry, I can't. His last name escapes me, but he did a whole bunch of series on ancient artifacts, biblical artifacts like Noah's Ark and the Ark of the Covenant, which is the mercy seat and very interesting. His name escapes me at the moment, but definitely worth checking out. And yeah, we'll finish it there for now. And I guess I'll be back with chapter 7. So thanks for listening, and God bless.